I ranked the top 32 safeties in the NFL, and every single one of you should agree that the top 8 on this list are absolutely in a league of their own. But let's check out the full rankings. The Goat House is back. Safeties ranked 32-1 for the upcoming 2025 season. The Rams safety Cameron Curl coming in at 32. They have a good trio going at the safety position. Kinchins is a guy that just missed the cut. He was third in snaps for them at the position, but started to increase those snaps as the year went on. Their other safety, one of their other safeties we'll talk about, I thought Curl did a really good job for them. They'd give a lot of split safety looks. But the secondary played much better than it looks on paper, and Curl was a part of that. Bears safety Kevin Byard, a long-time safety, mainly with the Tennessee Titans, once was elite. He's declined a little bit since then. Him and Harrison Smith kind of in the same boat, like some of the great safeties of the last how many years. They're declining a little bit. Byard actually played a little bit better than expected last year because we kind of thought maybe he was, maybe his career was just winding down already, but I thought he played pretty well for them at the free safety position. A really solid, experienced defensive coordinator coming in at Dennis Allen so he can continue to play or maybe even play better. Jaquan Brisker, excited to see him this year. He missed most last season with an injury. That was odd how long they're holding him out. Could he get back on track and make the list? We'll see. Harrison Smith at 30 was once an elite safety, possible future Hall of Famer, just not quite on that level anymore, but still super smart, super instinctive, and still versatile. Plays in the box and in the back end. Just slowing down a little bit. Could be the last year of his career. Cardinals safety Jalen Thompson, they have a really solid duo. We'll talk about Budda Baker, of course, but Jalen Thompson coming in at 29. Malik Mustafa, a second-year safety of the 49ers. I'd expect him to take a big step up this year. He really caught my eye down the stretch last year. Just a downhill thumper, reading plays and blowing up plays after there's a ball carrier or after the catch, but really good run support at the safety position. Jeremy Chin, kind of similar play style. He's had a kind of a roller coaster ride of a career right away. Looked ahead of schedule like he was going to be a future star, then kind of fell off a little bit. And there's, Panthers were wondering safety or linebacker. Like, what is he? Do we have a right role for him? And then, pretty solid for the Commanders last year. Now he goes to the Raiders. And Patrick Graham's a really good defensive coordinator. He's going to take that Mareg role where I thought he exploded last year, so Chin could end up playing better than expected. Jabril Peppers at 26, missed some time last year. The year before, maybe the best year of his career. It is a little bit different of a staff. He finally figured it out, but now it's a different staff this year. Will he kind of stay how he was 2 years ago when he kind of broke out? Or, which Jabril Peppers are we going to get? But he's been better, the last times we saw him on the football field. And Grant Delpit at 25. Remember the 2023 season, the first half of the 2023 season, it's not last year before, he was looking like one of the better safeties in football. So it's like, all right, here comes Grant Delpit. I don't want to say fell off, but didn't, keep up with that. But he's been a solid safety for the Cleveland Browns. The questions were tackling concerns coming out of college. I thought he's done a better job of that. He's not the greatest in the world, but I thought he's done a much better job, and that kind of keeps him on the, helps him become an every down safety in the league. 24, Texans second-year safety Kalen Bullock. Awesome rookie season for him, tallying 5 interceptions. Great secondary in Houston. Great defense in general, but they got a lot of guys in that secondary they can move around. So got a lot of good pieces around him. He's always been a big-time playmaker, getting his hands on the ball. Looking at USC, his time at USC, it's just always been about run support, tackling, angles. And he did an okay enough job to get himself more and more of a role, get those interceptions, become a playmaker. So really excited about him going forward. Just needs to get better in that tackling department. But Vikings safety Josh Metellus, one of their more important defensive players and maybe one of the most versatile defensive backs in the entire league because he plays strong safety, he plays free safety, he plays in the slot, and he plays linebacker for them. We saw when Cashman, Ivan Pace, these guys are in and out or injured. Metellus plays there, so super versatile, super important, always around the ball, always making plays, looking for an extension. The Vikings may need to give it to him. He's very important to them. So he comes at 23. 22, Telano Hufanga now with the Broncos. Very difficult one to rank because a few seasons ago, he had an elite season. Unreal. Just hasn't been able to repeat that. Injuries involved, so can he stay healthy? Can he get back on track? Away from that great Niners defense that season. Broncos got a really good defense. If he's healthy all year, he can end up finishing better than this. Just got to stay healthy. Jalen Petrie of the Houston Texans, really good in the slot at safety as well. I love his play getting downhill in the box area. Another guy, just got to stay healthy and he can be a big-time playmaker and could end up finishing better in this. Texans secondary looking really strong. A couple Broncos in the list already as well. But number 20, the Eagles safety Reed Blankenship. A few years ago, he went from kind of a no-name guy to people were like, who's this guy? He's making some noise, to a big piece for the Eagles, a big-time playmaker, super smart safety for them, and the best defense football last year. So number 19, the Broncos, Brandon Jones. He had a breakout year last year. Based off last year, maybe you want to rank him a little bit better in this. I do think the Broncos secondary, outside of Patrick Surtain at the end of the year, kind of tailed off a little bit. They were giving him a lot of big plays down the field, in the middle. But Brandon Jones could do a bit of everything. I like him working downhill, tackling, always around the ball. A really good blitzer. That's kind of what he was known as in Miami. Just a big-time blitzing safety, but he's become more than that. And then the Broncos have added some other pieces in the secondary so they can elevate all these guys' play. So I'm curious about him. Is that what we saw last year? Are we going to see more of that for Brandon Jones? Cam Bynum, a new safety for the Colts, is a big-time playmaking free safety in the back end, was with the Vikings. He also brings another level to the culture, a lot of energy, the celebration. So it's kind of a bonus, kind of just brings energy to a team. But yeah, it's a guy that was a corner turned safety, and he's just instantly become a playmaker, always around the football when it's in the air. So it's a big addition for the Colts. Kyle Duggar at 17. Duggar had a brutal year last year. I was disappointed because I've been pretty high on Duggar. Not coming out of college, because he kind of came out of nowhere, small school kid. But, early in his career, I'm like, this guy's going to be something. And last year did not show that, but he has it in him. He's got the instincts. Could be that downhill thumper. Really good coaching staff in there right now, so he kind of get back on track. If he does, he could end up being close to a top 10 safety. Just last year was kind of tough. I'm thinking he kind of gets back on track this year. Top 16 safeties, starting with a couple very underrated safeties here, guys that aren't big names and should be bigger names here. Titan safety Amani Hooker could play either safety position. He wouldn't put him past him to play in the slot as well. The Titans actually got some guys in the defensive backfield this year that they can move around a little bit. They get creative, but Hooker is a solid playmaker. He's really good, really sound in zone coverage. Does not get enough credit. Quentin Lake, maybe the most underrated player in the league. I thought he really broke out last year, played 100% of the snaps. He played a lot in the slot, but he also played at safety. They like to run a lot of split safeties. In that case, is with Cameron Curl and Kinchins can come in and play in the slot. When Lake's in the back end, you can flip those guys. So like the pieces they have there. Quentin Lake always around the ball, gets downhill, very smart player. Especially in zone coverage. I thought he was getting better and better as the year went on in the playoffs, at a monster game against Minnesota. So underrated player. Justin Reed at 14. You always wonder with the Chiefs guys, will they be as good away from the Chiefs? But Justin Reed, it feels like he's just getting better. Looking at last year, he's so good in run support, so good at attacking downhill, the ball carrier, whether it's a run or a pass. Really good tackler one-on-one, and very solid in coverage as well. So the Saints got a big-time safety in free agency. Tyrann Mathieu just retired, so Reed was going to start anyways, but they need him that badly, and it's going to come in handy signing him. C.J. Gardner-Johnson was a big surprise to many that the Eagles traded him to the Texans, but maybe they felt like they just needed a different type of safety. Gardner-Johnson can play multiple spots. He's probably best in the slot or box area, even though he can play in the back end, and they have Cooper DeJean who can play in that slot role. I still think the Eagles could have used him, but they move on from him. Texans, great defense, great spot. They really value safeties that are versatile and can play in the slot. He's so good at diagnosing plays, the instincts, getting downhill, laying a big-time hit in the right moment. The Texans' defensive backfield is feeling pretty damn loaded. Everyone talking about the Ravens. I do think the Ravens are probably at the top, but nobody really talks about the Texans up there. Right there with them. They should. Trevon Moehrig of the Panthers, new signing, big-time signing, paid a lot of money for him. Him coming out of TCU a few years ago, he was a big, high-profile prospect, and he was pretty underwhelming, but I thought the Raiders were playing him out of position. They played him more correctly last year, which is play him a little bit more in the box area. When he dominated at TCU, he's in the box or the slot. It's a bonus that he can play in the back end, play free safety, but first, he is up in the box. Really, really strong run supporter. Really good at diagnosing plays as well, blowing up plays, big time hitter, and he can just make plays all around the football. So, playing him in the correct role, he's a really good ascending young player. So I think the Panthers needed that. They needed anybody that can help them stop the run. feel like they got a good one. I'm excited to watch him grow. Minkah Fitzpatrick, now with the Miami Dolphins, he definitely dropped off last year. He didn't play anywhere near Minkah Fitzpatrick football. So he's probably declining, but he's still very, very solid. He could get back on track. I do think playing with the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, defensive mind, good corners, but the good defensive front, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, etc., gets the most out of players, right? So it may be a little bit tough, and they got a good front. The Miami Dolphins got a really good front if healthy, but the secondary around him, he might have to carry that a little bit. So his job might be a little harder with the Dolphins than it was with the Steelers. But at the end of the day, even if he has dropped off a little bit, he is still a very, very solid safety. Was elite maybe 2-3 years ago, possibly gets back on track. Julian Love of the Seattle Seahawks, very underrated. Remember, he came out of college as a stud corner, converted to safety, and he really could play any role back there. I like him as a free safety, but he could play strong. He could play in a slot. But he's really good tracking the football and making a play on it, getting from middle of the field to sideline. Really impressed what he's done, because he was supposed to be a good corner, and he just very quickly converted into a really good, natural-looking safety for the Seattle Seahawks. Very underrated. Javon Holland looked like right away coming into the league for the Miami Dolphins, looked like he was going to be a future elite, and then a lot of scheme changes that maybe really didn't fit Holland kind of resulted in him dropping off a little bit, but he's still a young player. He's only on his second contract after the Giants just signed him, and they've viewed him as a fit. So now he's locked in somewhere where they view him as a fit. They're not going to change anything, right? It's where he belongs. I think him fitting in with Nubin, makes a lot of sense as well. So he could end up being elite this season. It's tough to rank him there right now, but I got him in the top 9, So the talent is there. The playmaking ability is there. He also can get downhill, blitz if you need him to. We saw him do that when Brian Flores was in Miami the first year. But a really good playmaking safety in the back end, at least that. So it could be a big-time signing for the New York Football Giants. These are the top 8 safeties right now. I feel like it's not debatable, really. I know Minkah Fitzpatrick once was easily there. He could get back there. Javon Holland could easily get in there. But right now, I don't know how you're ranking a top 8 safeties and not including any of these guys. You can order any way you want it for the most part, but these are the guys here. Buda Baker coming in at number 8. He's still playing at a very high level. Loved him last year in that Jonathan Gannon defense. A couple years ago, I felt like, is Buda is he dropping off a little bit? Still really good. And now it's like, nope. He's still playing. He's always around the ball. You can align him free, strong, in the slot, can do anything you want with him, racking up the tackles, making the big plays, super instinctive. So he's easily one of those great top 8 safeties still that are currently in a league of their own. Again, a couple other guys were there or could get back there, could get there. Kirby Joseph at number 7, one of the best playmakers in the game right now, just always around the football, always getting his hands on the football. It's because the range is ridiculous. The length, the athleticism also plays a part there. But I've really enjoyed scouting safeties recently. Kirby Joseph was on my guys list coming out of Illinois. He barely had time starting. It was a guy that I felt like was going to figure it out. Brian Branch, I had an elite grade on too. Kyle Hamilton, a lot of people did. Jesse Bates, I got ripped for having a first-round grade on him. So really excited about the safeties here. The Lions safeties, especially with Joseph, looks really promising as one of the best playmakers in the league, or keeps breaking out more and more, earned that big-time contract. Antoine Winfield Jr., kind of known as one of the better, maybe elite safeties in the league, dropped off a little bit last year. Missed a lot of tackles. He just didn't feel like his normal self. I still think he was solid, but that was not the elite Antoine Winfield Jr., but he's not really a guy that's supposed to be declining right now. He very, very easily could get back on track. Just got to stay fully healthy. I think it's just a matter of that. The Buccaneers added some more guys to that secondary, some more guys to the edge rush, really all over, which could, because the secondaries, like guys like Winfield, they've had a tough job. They ask him to play free. They ask him to blitz 1 second. He's running all over the place. He's manning up on a guy in a slot. Not super often, but they'll do that. They'll run a lot of cover 3 mainly, but very tough job is my point. So I think things can get a little more simpler for him and he can get back on track. Brian Branch, slot corner, slot defensive back / safety, plays both. Always around the football. big time playmaker. I thought he's been more physical too, adding the physical element to his game. Not that he wasn't in Alabama, but there's more of it right now. I'm still mind blown where he went in the draft. I had an elite grade on him. I watched his tape. I'm like, this guy's a total package. Just because he mainly plays in the slot doesn't, which is super valuable in today's NFL. So I don't know what happened there, but an incredible, easily top 5 safety. Derwin James coming in at number 4. I mean, Derwin James has always been, we see the flashes. He's great. He's one of the greats. But then people kind of wanted to rank him number 1 or number 2 safety. And then we're going, he's not really fully there yet. But I thought last year, to me, like he's right there. I mean, the run support was ridiculous. Able to man up on anyone in coverage. We saw split safety looks downfield in coverage from the Chargers as well. I mean, they get a much better, newer, much better coaching staff. Really across the board, not just offense, defense as well. We saw the defense play at a very high level. This is a very important piece. I thought he was incredible. We saw a little bit of a total package Derwin James last year. So snap a finger. That was his first year with that staff as well. And on paper, the defense didn't look like in pieces it did, but super great around him. It's only going to grow. It looks great right now. I just think the whole defense is only going to grow. Second year with that staff. So Derwin James could end up being that guy that everyone always expected him to be. Maybe that number 1 safety in football. So I got to put him in the top 4. Xavier McKinney took a major step. I mean, he was always good with the Giants, but it seems like a lot of players with the Giants, they that are even the ones that are already good, they go elsewhere and they're even better. I mean, Saquon Barkley, another one when he was already elite, already really good, but McKinney took it up another notch. One of the very best playmakers in this league, was just always every week it's like McKinney got another interception. He got another interception. He's not really getting gifts. He's making big time plays. He's a serious playmaker. And the Packers secondary on paper with Alexander out all the time, like it just did not look that great on paper. And McKinney was just everywhere, elevating everyone. There's some young players that were underrated that end up being better than expected. So got to give those guys credit too. Got to give the new defensive coaching credit. But McKinney was the problem. Teams had to worry about where he was. They had to throw away from him. Remember the Packers down the stretch, their defense was playing very well. And that's why, while they couldn't consistently get sacks, they had no Alexander in there. It felt like Edgerrin Cooper was carrying the linebackers. It's because McKinney was a problem back there. When they played the Eagles in the first round of the playoffs, that defense played the Eagles offense as good as anyone did. It starts with him. It really was Xavier McKinney, and there was more help, but he was that much of a problem for teams. And then Jesse Bates, in my opinion, has been the defensive playmaker. When I say playmaker on defense, I mean a guy that just gets the ball. Like he takes the ball away, he flies around, just makes plays on the ball. Jesse Bates and McKinney was there last year, obviously. A lot of these guys were there, but Jesse Bates, since pretty much he's been in the league, he's been that, to at least for me, that premier playmaker. And I thought he took it a step up last year. This dude was getting downhill, punching the ball out in crucial moments. Jesse Bates, it felt like single-handedly won the Atlanta Falcons games. And that secondary was brutal last year. He didn't really have much help. I mean, Terrell was out there, but they add Simmons, and he was brutal for them last year. The other corners, really everywhere. So I thought Bates had a lot of ground to cover. He made some big-time plays in some important moments, maybe the best playmaker in the league. And Kyle Hamilton's got to be number 1. I mean, the versatility's a bonus, but what he does play to play, how the Ravens, they always mix it up. They'll go zone one play, man coverage next. That's how you got to do it. And they'll be flip-flopping. It's so difficult. He'll man up on a tight end. He can man up on the outside, over the middle of the field. He can cover from the back end, can cover from the box, do every single thing you ask from today's safeties. And those versatile guys that can move around a bit and just, be valuable to you. And again, man zone, just every single category. They are so damn valuable in today's NFL. He's just a complete game changer for them. Again, everywhere on the field. You see him in the backfield, see him getting after the quarterback. So he is just a unique, rare, elite type of talent that is scary, continuing to get better and better, and a big, big key piece for that Baltimore Ravens. As good as that defense, that is a great defense that was getting better. They started a little slow. There was times early in the year where it's like, they missing Mike McDonald. Yeah, they kind of are, but then they figured it out then. But as good as that defense is, like, is Kyle Hamilton the most important player on that deal. It's debatable, but for a safety to be that guy, it's something special. So he's my number one safety for the 2025 season, but there's some serious talent. I love this position in today's NFL. I absolutely love it. I love scouting it for sure. I love scouting every position, but I want to check out some of the fans' rankings. From Vitor, Kyle Hamilton, Jesse Bates, Brian Branch, Antoine Winfield, Xavier McKinney, and Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think Minkah was up there. He definitely, it was such a short time ago that he easily can get back there. Clear-cut top safeties, Derwin, Buddha, Love, follow them. Yeah, pretty much the same guys in the same category. Ian's got Kyle Hamilton, Brian Branch, Xavier McKinney, Jesse Bates, Kirby Joseph, Antoine Winfield Jr., Buddha Baker. Accidentally listed Winfield twice, but yeah, the same group of guys here. High on Jabril Peppers. I mean, yeah, if he played like he did a couple seasons ago, new staff, didn't play a ton last year, then most definitely can get back on track. Julian Love, and then some of the same guys we've talked about. Love for Brandon Jones, Riley, Kyle Hamilton, Brian Branch. You guys making me think I'm low on Brian. I love Brian Branch, but been a huge fan of his, but Xavier, it's the same guys. Xavier McKinney, Derwin James, Jesse Bates. I'm a big Jesse Bates guy. Kirby Joseph, Antoine Winfield, Buddha Baker. It's the same 8 right there, right? It's the same 8. Javon Holland, 9. And that was my 9. Julian Love at 10. So we're looking good here. We got Brandon Jones, Jalen Petrie, and Hufanga there. Yeah, Petrie and Hufanga stay healthy, of course. Yeah, they could be up there. Aiden Weingartner, got Kyle Hamilton, Jesse Bates, Xavier McKinney. Same top 3 as me. Love to see it. Antoine Winfield Jr., Derwin James, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. Cam Bynum getting some love. CJ, a big-time playmaker. CJ Gardner-Johnson at 9. Minkah Fitzpatrick at 10. So some different names in there, but I like it. You definitely can make the case. Fennec says Hamilton, Bates, Winfield Jr., McKinney, Branch, Baker, Joseph, Derwin James, Brandon Jones. Yeah, Brandon Jones played that way for the most part, I thought, last year. It's just, it's a guy that, is that the Brandon Jones? Like, I kind of want to see a little bit more. Justin Reed, will he continue off, where he left off with the Chiefs? The Chiefs felt like they can move on from him, get one of the young guys to step up. But Reed's playing some pretty good football. I do think Winfield, out of the top guys, we all agree Winfield's a top guy. I almost want to rank him up there because he was just there. He just had an off year last year, but definitely can get back on track. Fitz says, number 1 Honey Badger, favorite all-time college player. What a stud, will be missed. Yeah, just retired. So good shot out there. Hamilton won. Did everybody have Hamilton won? They did. I don't know if I want to say I'm surprised. I just thought maybe somebody would have Jesse Bates or it's really not that surprising, I suppose. But a lot of these guys are so good. But Hamilton, Brian Branch, Jesse Bates, Xavier McKinney, Winfield Jr., Javon Holland, Kirby Joseph, and Derwin James right there. Justin Reed, Brandon Jones. Yeah, a lot of you guys giving some love to Brandon Jones. He was really good last year. Jimmy Ward and Malik Hooker did not rank. Jimmy Ward, off the field issue, how much is he going to play this year? And the Texans have so many guys like him. They got so many options right now. How much he might, if he's out there, he'll play, I guess. And Malik Hooker, I thought a little bit more of a down year last year. They keep having to change defensive coordinators, so we'll see where he's at. But if he's healthy, he's a solid playmaking safety in the back end for sure. So, everyone kind of agreeing. Like I said, there's a kind of a firm top X amount of guys, but then I like to kind of some other names are added in here. So always good to see that. Love seeing it. Let me know in the comments. Play along. Let me see it. But a lot more content to get to before the season starts. We're everything NFL. Want to actually make some fantasy videos, maybe shorts, fantasy shorts. Got some strong takes this year. So got predictions coming up, covering trades, cuts. We got you guys covered. Hopefully you join us. Like, subscribe to notifications on. Check out our other position ranking videos. They're up on the channel. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.